Okay, so in the past, in previous episodes and during classes, I've sort of discussed the sort of things you can do with VirtualBox. Today in class this morning, I mentioned that Kali makes VM images pre-built for certain hypervisor environments, virtualization environments. The three big ones are VMware, VirtualBox, and Hyper-V. I tried this morning to demonstrate doing this with VMware, but VMware is being rather difficult on me. I actually ended up removing Hyper-V from my OS entirely, in hopes that what seemed like a device guard collision between VMware and Hyper-V would go away. I even upgraded VMware. It's possible that what I really need to do is download the latest and greatest version of VMware, rather than getting just an upgrade. Sometimes the upgrades by themselves don't really seem to work. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is demonstrate creating a VM for Kali in VirtualBox using this OVA. There's actually two of them here. This one is a 64-bit OVA, and this is the 32-bit, and this is actually, let's see, what it looks like in my File Explorer is this. This Kali VBox OVA. I decided to go for the 32-bit version. I was actually trying to build an OS, install from scratch from the ISO, but that's been difficult over the last couple of days. One way you can test this to make sure if probably the OS will install is to fire up a live boot, or if you don't really want to do that, fire up an OVA that already exists because they built one for you, and see if you can update some software. So what I'm going to do, I've already downloaded it, so we won't do that. What I'm going to do is go to File, and I'm going to import an appliance. That's really what we're doing here. I could go into guided mode. That's the simple way. Let's see, and I'm going to go to my ISO images, and this one, and I'm going to click Next, and notice it's got some storage. Now, one thing that this thing fussed at me, I'm actually doing this already. I've done this before. I'm doing it already just to walk you through the process. It fussed at me about the USB controller, so you might have to turn some things off. Okay, it's importing the hard drives as VDI. That's fine. Import, and I accept the GPL3. It's going to think for a minute. And I'm actually going to pause this while it thinks for a minute because I don't want to waste a lot of time doing that. It's about 1:38 now. I'm going to pause this and come back when it's good and ready. Oh, okay, and we're back. That actually took about 5 minutes. Now, one thing I'm probably going to have to change before I can successfully power this thing up. This USB controller thing is going to have to be changed, and let me show you. I'll actually leave it over there. Okay, no, I can't do that. It would only, okay, invalid settings detected. Okay, okay. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Instead of, my options here are to turn off USB 2.0, which I suppose I could do, or I could get that extension pack. So let's do that. So I will go to the okay, extension pack. Okay, help. VirtualBox website. Let's go to the VirtualBox website. I'm going to drag this over here. Because unfortunately, VirtualBox is under the impression that I want to use Edge, which is not the case. But I can go ahead and get the extension pack. which will actually allow me to boot the VM as built. And I will save it, and I will view my downloads. Okay. Nope. Let's see. So there we go. Downloads. Actually, let me drag this over here. Okay, so open. Yes, so it's an extension file. Okay. Okay. So it's an extension pack. It's not an executable file. Actually, let me do view. Okay, file name extensions. So it's a .vbox dash ext pack. Actually, you know what? Let me move this into another directory. Okay, cancel. Actually, I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to move this. I want to show you all this without. Okay, so here we go. So we've got this extension pack. I open that. Ends up here. I'm going to install it. I have to scroll to the bottom to agree. And actually, I probably will have to close. I've got like 3 copies. Okay, good. 3 copies of VirtualBox right now. Boom. Okay, now. So I've got. Ooh, now I really have options. I could go with USB 1.1, USB 2.0, or now I've got USB 3.0 compatibility. So cool. So I can just start it. Now, one thing I've already noticed is that this information about the username and passwords is old. That's how it would have worked in the previous versions before Kali. Well, sometime in the 2019 release family, Kali moved from a single root user to a single user named Kali. And the password went from being Tour to being Kali. That's actually one of the big changes in 2020. There are some other things going on, but that's one of them. So just be aware that this information is probably left over from an old version of Kali, which does not support that anymore. For the longest time, because Kali was built on, say, Backtrack, I think, Kali has gone through a number of iterations. If you want to learn the history of Kali, in a nutshell at least, what I suggest you do is go get the Kali Linux Revealed ebook. They have it on a PDF on their website. So let me show you that right quick, because I'm at OffSec anyway. Let's see, so courses and certifications. OffSec, of course, are the people who built Kali. They just are giving away what they know. And that makes a great deal of sense to me, because the more people who know how to use this thing, the more valuable it will be. Let's see. Actually, let me go to Kali.org. Go back to Kali.org. Now, for those of you who were in Kali Linux Revealed, yes. For those of you who are in my Linux class, you should already have this. If you have not taken the Linux class yet, or if you're already interested in digging into what Kali is good for, I strongly suggest getting at least the PDF version of this book, if not buying yourself a hard copy on Amazon. So here we have Kali. So all I really did was I imported it. Now that this thing is up and going, I could just as easily, it's going to want to be huge. Okay, good. I'm going to maximize it because that's what it wants. Good. So the thing I want to check to see if installing Kali from scratch will even work is whether or not the repos are up. I honestly think that was kind of the problem before. Hold on. Okay, get too many. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to do is something really simple. Sudo apt-get. And if this works, if I can talk to the repos, if I'm not going to get any, yes, if I'm not going to get any errors about, oh, this is the same problem I had last week, which I strongly suspect will make it kind of impossible for me to actually install Kali, because there is a hash sum mismatch. Okay, the files are the right size. Some of the hashes are okay, but okay. Notice here the SHA1 hash is right. The MD5 hash is right. The SHA 256 hash is not right. So okay, and it's even the packages repository is the problem. So I can try. So for example, one other thing. Let me try one more thing. I want to show you something. One of the tools that you may use from time to time in your password cracking is something called John the Ripper. There's a front end to John the Ripper called Johnny. So if I do sudo apt-get install Johnny, if this doesn't work, okay, unable to locate package. Okay, so yeah, something is seriously wrong with the repos. I'm going to have to do some research. But if all you need was a stock Kali out of the box, no updates, no extra packages, you could run this even if the Kali repos were offline. So that's how you build a Kali VM from an OVA appliance file in VirtualBox, and make sure that USB is working correctly. Thanks.